Hey everybody, I'm Lou. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this November 2023 forecast. So this is a general astrology and tarot card reading, and I do recommend that you watch for your rising sign first if you know it. Then you can watch your sun sign and your moon sign afterwards if you wish to do so, but the rising sign is going to be the most accurate. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That really helps me and also helps me to continue to produce these forecasts down the track. Now, as always, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm doing these readings on, the Gumbaynggirr people, and recognize their continued connection to their culture and country. I wish to pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging, and I recognize that this is and always will be Aboriginal land. Let's get into the forecast. Hello there, Gemini. Welcome to your November 2023 reading. Let's open up the reading with devotion. Parvati. That's a nice card. So we're in Scorpio season, okay? So we are in 6th house energy at the beginning of the month. We've got the sun there, we've got Mars there, we've got Mercury there. We're going to have a new moon in Scorpio on the 13th of November. So that is going to be quite a challenging moon, or maybe not challenging, but it's going to be a catalyst for a lot of change. See, it's making a conjunction with Mars, like a tight conjunction with Mars, and it's making a tight opposition with Uranus, who's over in your 12th house. So that's that Uranus and Jupiter in your 12th house have been activating that ascension narrative that's been going on for you all year, for the last 6 months at least, if not longer, Gemini, where you have been going through a lot of shifts and changes, or a lot of experiences within your life that have been forcing your hand, really, is what I want to say, to move more towards the divine, move more towards source energy, move more towards embodying something bigger than yourself into your life, pulling that into your life, being devoted to a faith or a religion or to a higher power or to yourself even, okay? So there's been a need to tap into that kind of aspect of your life. So this new moon on the 13th of November is going to be opposing that energy with Mars conjunct, which means that there's going to be a shift, there's going to need to be a change in most likely your lifestyle, the way you're living your life, your daily routines, your daily habits. Okay, maybe toxic habits, maybe addictions, maybe something you do on a regular basis every day, something you engage in every day is going to need to shift. You're going to need to replace it with something else because it's not serving you anymore. It's not going to work for you anymore. The universe is hustling it out of your experience. So you're going to need to make some adjustments there, Gemini. The 6th house, where all this energy is, the Scorpio season and all of that energy in the 6th house, is the house of self-mastery, okay? So it's the house of our lifestyle and our habits, our daily habits, our health as well, but it's also like it encompasses overall our sense of self-mastery, how much mastery we have over who we are, what we're putting out there, what we're doing, okay? And so that's where our house of personal growth and development. So you may have been feeling last week and then the first 3 weeks of November wanting to work on self-growth, on personal growth, okay, and feeling dedicated and devoted to it. So this devotion card is really encouraging that. It's really encouraging you to take a really good look at yourself. The 6th house, we analyze, okay, we critique, we take that lens, that microscopic lens, and look at the ways that we can improve. It's a house of improvement. And you may find something, maybe it's one really solid thing that you want to change, that you want to improve, or maybe there's a lot of things that you want to change and want to improve. But I think around that new moon particularly, it's going to be a really good idea to do that work, to really do that work. I don't think you're going to have a choice, really. But, the more that you move into that with that sense of devotion and that sense of deliberate conscious awareness, the easier it will be. Now, at the end of the month, we shift into Sagittarius season, okay? So actually on the 10th of November, Mercury will move into Sagittarius. And then on the 22nd of November, the Sun will move into Sagittarius. And then on the 24th, Mars will move into Sagittarius, so then we will have a heightened Sagittarius energy, and that's your 7th house. So that's your house of partnerships, past, present, or future. Usually intimate partnerships, but also business or people you work with on a one-on-one capacity, maybe clients or something like that. So apply that to your life how you will, but that's going to become the focus at the end of the month. And so this storyline of devotion, who are you devoting yourself to? Who are you devoting your time to, your energy to, your love to, your life to? And how is that coming out for you? How is that serving you? How is that helping you? Okay, so these are all topics that are going to come up, because at the end of the month, and this is the most pivotal part for you to know, Gemini, on the 27th of November, we have a full moon in your sign, in Gemini. Okay, this is your annual full moon, your annual releasing and letting go, your annual like emotional decluttering that you can do. Now, this moon is making a tight opposition to Mars. So Mars is going to be in your 7th house, activating your connections with either passion or anger. So Mars usually brings drive, it brings a fiery energy. So whether that is through like excitement and enthusiasm, or it's through anger and conflict, right? So that's going to vary for everybody, but it's making that opposition, which is a challenging aspect. And then it's also making a T-square with Saturn in Pisces in your 10th house. So when we have a T-square like this and we have an opposition like this, it is very challenging. It means that there is 2 or more facets of your life that are not blending together, that are not coming together well. So this may be you and a partner, you and your career, your partner and your career. Okay, so it's something to do with all of that where there's going to be conflict and there may not be a resolution. So you need to look at your devotion. What are you devoted to? Are you devoted to your partner? Are you devoted to your job? Are you devoted to yourself? That's my recommendation, but like looking at what you're devoted to, because that's going to be challenged this month at the end of the month with your full moon. So you're coming into the reading as the Hermit in reverse, which is interesting because like I was saying about that 6th house activation with Scorpio season for the first 3 weeks, that 6th house, okay, is the natural home of Virgo. So it's the Virgoan energy that we're engaging in, and Virgo rules the Hermit, and that's in reverse. So what that's telling me is either you're not coming to the table during that 6th house season, or the 6th house energy is really overwhelming you. Okay, so it's here on the table, which means it's accessible. Like I said at the beginning, that personal growth we're talking about, your personal development, your personal growth. Okay, but it's in reverse. So either it's just not happening. Maybe you're not willing, maybe you're not willing to look at yourself with that analytical lens. Maybe you're not willing to go there. Maybe you are devoting yourself to another person, and if you were to pull back from that person and look at yourself, you feel like you may lose them in some way, or they may stop loving you in some way. But knowing that that's not real. I know that we can tell ourselves that, and we can try and convince ourselves that, and we tend to do it over and over again, knowing really that we're lying to ourselves. But the only way to really truly connect with another person is to do that work on the inner level, to be your own solid sense of self, your own personal cheerleader, your own personal advocator. Okay, so advocating for yourself and devoting to yourself first, and then other people will come in and match you. So there may be this feeling of, what I'm feeling is that you're feeling drawn towards other people and you're sort of self-sacrificing with this Hermit in reverse. It feels like a self-sacrifice. Now, I'm just saying that because of the Hermit energy in the astrology as well. I was asking you, so the Hermit card asks you to go within and find the light within on the inner realm. Find your own light. When it's in reverse, you're looking for your light externally. You're not going inwards. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes we can go too far inwards, and then the Hermit in reverse is calling us to come out of that, and it's telling us that we're doing too much of that and we need to start interacting with other people again. But in this scenario with the 6th house activation, I don't think that's the case. I think that you do need to be going in and finding your own light within, looking within for the answers, doing that self-inventory work, that personal development work at this time, and it seems like it's not happening for you. So let's get some more information. We have the environment, the Queen of Wands. So this could be somebody in your environment, okay? So this could be, it doesn't have to be female, but most likely will be someone who taps into that more feminine energy, okay? That feminine power. So the Queen of Wands is very powerful. She's very certain. She's very sure of herself. So maybe that's a person in your life that's like that, or maybe the environment is calling you to be like that, or is reflecting that back to you. And that can also be another reason why we don't go into this growth work. So when things are going really well in our environment, we tend not to do this personal inventory. We tend to think, oh, well, everything's going well. Why would I take a look at myself, right? But that is the crux here, right, Gemini? This is when it's so important to do it, because to keep that momentum going. That's why we go back and forth. We slip back and forth because we stop doing when something bad happens. Often what most people will do is they'll start to put things into place to prop themselves back up, to get themselves back on their feet. They start to meditate, or they start to journal, or they start to see a counselor, or they start to do more hobbies, or whatever it is, whatever you're using for your own growth and development, your own self-mastery. But then when things turn around and get really good, those things drop off again, and because we think we don't need them anymore. And then we end up back where we started. So this is kind of what that's saying to me, is that if you're doing really well right now, don't forget to keep doing those things that got you to where you are, especially after what you've just been through over the last few months. Okay, you may have really propped yourself up to get yourself to where you are. And so keep going, keep doing those things. And the universe needs you to take a rest as well. Okay, so there may be... So what I'm feeling for you, Gemini, is that there's a lot going on externally, and maybe this is a new relationship. Maybe this is a partner. Maybe this is multiple people. The 6th house is also the house of service. So maybe a lot of people are demanding your attention. They're demanding your service. Maybe you're needing to help a lot of people at this time. But what I'm seeing for you is that by doing that, channeling yourself into other people, you are ignoring your own needs. And that may not be obvious like right now. That may just seem like that you have all this energy and you're supporting other people, or that maybe you just like, I don't have the time to meet my own needs. But the universe is definitely telling you, 4 of Swords, to take that rest and rejuvenate your own soul. Because if you don't do this and you operate in Queen of Wands constantly without resting, you're going to burn out. And we've got this devotion card. Like I said, if you're devoting yourself to other people all the time and there's no space for you, Hermit in reverse, you are going to burn out, Gemini. So the cards and the astrology is asking you to rest, asking you to take some time out to relax into your own space, into your own groove. Okay, remembering with all that Taurus activation that you have been connecting with the divine, you've been connecting with your inner being, with source energy. And so keep going with that connection. Keep that connection going. The other thing that's happening is on the 8th of November, Venus will move into Libra. So that's your 5th house. So maybe this is a fresh new romance, right? Venus in the 5th house can bring fresh new romances, new like playful. Maybe you're burning the candle at both ends in a way, because Venus in the 5th can also be social events, social gatherings, letting your hair down. It can be like overindulging in gambling or partying or something. And so what I'm seeing is whatever you're doing, in whatever way you're giving yourself away without coming back home to self, you're burning yourself out. And we have the Page of Cups and the 3 of Wands. I love this Page of Cups. Like I said, with Venus moving into the 5th house, it could be a new romance if you are in that space in your life to be accepting in new love. Okay, Page of Cups is very innocent, naive. It can be children as well. The 5th house is the house of children. So you can apply this to your children, or you can apply this to a new romance, like a new exciting fling kind of romance, the honeymoon period. So there could be some of that feeling. You can also apply this to your creative hobbies. So there may be this Hermit in reverse may be ignoring your own creativity. If you're a very creative person, if you have a lot of hobbies and passions, do not ignore that this month, okay? Tap into that playful energy. Page of Cups, playful and creative. Queen of Wands energy is going to be how you're going to move through this month effectively, especially as we move into those moons where there's those challenges. Dropping into that creative space is going to help you to expand. 3 of Wands is going to help you to grow and move forward further. Okay, so if you burn out, you cannot expand. if you are giving yourself away and not refilling your own cup, replenishing your own soul, then you will burn out and this Three of Wands will be lost. The universe wants you to grow and expand. The Three of Wands comes out when your ships are coming in, okay? It's when things are coming towards you that you've called in, things that you've wanted, things you've been working on, things you've asked for, your desires. Venus in the 5th house is also about our desires, okay? So this is something you've desired, it's something you've been working on and manifesting, and it's coming towards you, but you need to be able to be in a space to receive it. Ten of Cups. Beautiful energy, Gemini. I really love this for you. We've got the World on the bottom of the deck. So that full moon in your first house, that full moon on the 27th of November in Gemini, it is the closing of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. We've got the World here to represent that closure of a cycle. So this full moon will set you up for the next 6 months of letting go, of releasing and moving into what's going to come when you hit your own new moon around your birthday, okay? So this releasing and surrendering will be of benefit to you, and I think that this tapping into your own emotional fulfillment, that comes from, like I said, devoting yourself to you, devoting yourself to what lights you up, what brings you joy, what makes you feel good, filling your own cup. 10 of Cups is emotional fulfillment. So you're filling your own cup, and as you fill your own cup, that flows over, it flows out of you into the world, and that is how you are a service to other people. That is how you devote yourself to other people, Gemini. You cannot pour from an empty cup. We all know that, okay? So the only way, so if you're trying to help other people, if you're trying to devote yourself to other people, know that the only way for you to truly do that is to come from this 10 of Cups perspective, come from a full cup yourself. So look after yourself first. It's like when you're on an airplane and they tell you when the masks drop, put your own mask on first and then help other people. It's the same thing energetically. You have to have your own mask on, your own oxygen mask on, before you can be of benefit to anyone. Because if you run out of oxygen, then no one wins. You can't help anyone. Everybody loses. So if you don't need any more encouragement to do your own creative hobbies, to do your own self-inventory, to do your own personal growth, tend to your physical health too. The 6th house is physical needs like food, water, rest, all those things, really nourishing your body, nourishing your soul. Devote yourself to yourself, Gemini. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to do, and it's a beautiful way to be able to give back to the world. We have Soul Giraffe. The Soul Giraffe is all about being able to see the bigger picture. And so this is really the same thing of being able to see. So if you've got a lot of demands on you, if there's a lot of people pulling you in all different ways, needing lots of things from you, and you don't have the time to look after yourself, rising above and seeing the situation from the perspective of a giraffe, where he can see the distance, he can see the long term, and knowing that if you give yourself away now, then you're going to have to do so much more later to repair yourself, to replenish yourself, to refill your cup. So sometimes saying no is the best thing you can do for that other person, because then if you've done what you need to do, then you can be there for them in a better way. Maybe not in that moment when they ask you, but you can be there when they need you because you've got a full cup to give. And that's what the Soul Giraffe is about, looking at the bigger picture, looking at the overall picture. It's easy, especially when there's this energy, and throughout November is very conflicting. There's a lot of conflict resolution that everybody across the board is going to have to deal with. So when that happens, we can get really narrow focused. Okay, our focus becomes very narrow on the problem. There's a problem, I need to fix it. Definitely, if there's a lot of people that have problems and you're trying to help them all, your vision gets narrower and narrower and narrower. And that Three of Wands is so expansive, but you can't access it, you can't tap into it with a narrow vision. So we need to broaden your vision so that you can see the bigger picture, you can see from a higher perspective, like a giraffe looking over the landscape, okay? So broadening your vision, that comes through meditation. It's pretty much the only way you can do that. is by meditating and contemplating and delving within in the internal realm, finding yourself inside of yourself, right? So for this month, if all you do for the whole of November is just focus on a broad vision and help yourself tap into your heart space, 10 of coins, into this heart space, coming from the heart instead of this narrow focus on problems and fears, then you will be successful this month. And we have surrender to wonder and awe. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. Wonder and awe is really that energy of inspiration, right? It's this playful Page of Cups energy, the desires, the creativity, Queen of Wands, creativity, Three of Wands, expansion. So that kind of energy, especially if you're a very creative person, is helpful to tap into this broader perspective. Okay, so so our creative space is our heart center. And when we are cut off from our heart center, if we're moving through the world just from our mind, which often happens with you, okay, that does happen with you, Gemini, but because you're mercurial ruled. But if you can find a way to turn that off, which usually happens, interestingly, through creativity, right? Through creative hobbies, creative passions, whether that's movement or art or whatever that is for you. If you can find a way to turn that off and tap into that endlessness, that space of vastness, okay, that meditative place is what I'm talking about. Any way that you do that, through joy, through creativity, even through your relationships with other people, will help you to see the bigger picture. So surrendering to that, okay? Like I said, this is exactly the same thing, not allowing yourself to be narrow focused, but broadening that focus in whatever way that you can do that, Gemini, will be of benefit to you this month. So the other thing I'll just briefly touch on is that Mercury will be doing a retrograde next month in December. Okay, so that is your ruling planet. So it's important for you to know it's going to be a start in Capricorn in your 8th house and will back into your 7th house. So you're going to be working on 8th house, 7th house narratives, most likely to do with your relationships and your level of power and control and your level of intimacy and vulnerability within your relationships is going to be a hot topic. Whether you're in a relationship and you're working with that through a partner, or whether you're single and you're working through that on your own. So that's next month. I am doing a video, a separate video for that Mercury retrograde, where I'll do an individual tarot card reading for each zodiac sign. Okay, so look out for that in December. We'll talk way more about that next month. But just something to have a heads up about, because you'll start to get snippets of this storyline throughout November as well. So you'll start to be able to gather information, intel around what you're going to want to work on when Mercury moves retrograde. Okay, and so that is your month this month, Gemini. Thanks so much for being here with me. It is an absolute pleasure to read for you. Please do subscribe to my channel so I can keep making these videos, and I'll see you again next month. Take care.